Welcome to Refined Resilience. I'm your host, Carrie Hill, and on this podcast, we highlight the small moments that shape our journey toward greatness and remind us that resilience isn't linear. Each episode features stories of perseverance and the little victories that often go unnoticed, illustrating that resilience is about finding strength in everyday life. Welcome to the podcast today. I am so excited because I have my good dear friend, Angela Martindale, with me today. And Angela is a powerhouse in the entrepreneurial world with over 25 years of experience. As a board director, CEO, and founder of multiple successful companies in food manufacturing, health, and wellness, Angela is a master at building multi-million-dollar brands and teams. She is renowned as a marketing and branding consultant. She's the architect of the pathway to the customer and a highly sought after global keynote speaker. She shares her insights on conscious entrepreneurship, trauma healing, and inspiring leadership across various sectors. Angela's impressive career includes leadership roles at Open Table and Simply Done Business Solutions. She's an advocate for wellness. She holds numerous certifications and has completed extensive clinical hours as a wellness practitioner. She was born and raised in Salt Lake City. She is an adventurous soul and an avid gardener and a dedicated philanthropist. And she joins us today to chat with me about resilience. Hello, beautiful.
Hi. That was fun.
It's always uncomfortable to hear who you are, but when you stop and you pause and you think about it, I mean, Angela, you've done that's not even half of what you've done in the world. You've been in business and entrepreneurship for a really long time, and we're going to dig into that. But I just want to say thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we've known each other for a long time,
Yeah.
and we've done some good work together, and I needed to have you on because your story is so incredible around resilience. And so for those of you listening that aren't familiar with Angela, I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself, how she grew up, where she grew up, and just kind of what your roots are.
Well, where do I start?
At the beginning.
Okay. Well, I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, and my parents were young, and I have had two beautiful sisters, but I have two beautiful sisters, and I've always been very interested in business and helping people and wanting to make money. That's always important.
And you're good at it.
Yeah. I started one of my first businesses at probably 8 years old, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. Yeah.
What was that? What was the business?
Well, it was called Light Force, and it was on my stairs on the way up to my mom and dad's bedroom. And I had my little sister. She was my assistant, and we had invoices and we made tons of money.
I love it.
And, but then other than that, I had incredible aunts that were entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs. And, one is a wholesaler of flowers. She had the largest wholesaling company of flowers, and she would send us boxes of damaged flowers. And I would wrap them up in little bows and tissue paper, and I would sell them on the street for Valentine's, Mother's Day. Made great money. I could buy all my school clothes, and I did that from the time I was 8 until I was probably at least 15 because I couldn't drive yet. So, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just been nonstop ever since. Yeah. So, well, I know your dad, I know a little bit about your family background, so I know you were brought up with a dad who was in construction and a builder. And I love to hear you talk about how that building gene influenced you as you grew up. And obviously with the entrepreneurship that you started at such a young age, I'm sure that building context was really important for you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm a military baby. So my dad was in the Army, and then he became a police officer. And we had a pretty terrifying experience that really just pushed him to want to do something different. Yeah. And my grandfather was a contractor, a plumber, and he had trade. And so he always worked with my grandfather, and he said, I'm going to start my own business. All the Martindales are very entrepreneurial. We all have our own businesses. We all give to our community, and my dad started his construction company. And so from the time I was very young, I mean, he started that when I was born. I was probably 2-3 months old when he said, I'm doing my own thing. And he is a master at building. And so all through my life, we always, we built playhouses and mailboxes for the whole street or the whole neighborhood. Yeah. He would make all of our games out of wood. He would teach us, he taught us everything that we needed to know about nails, hammers, tools, changing a tire. He had 3 girls. So we had to be resilient. Yeah. We had to be resilient, and we had to know how to take care of ourselves. And he wanted us to take care of ourselves. He wanted to empower us to be able to fix things, right? Yeah. And my mom was a quilter, and so we always knew how to, sew a button or, a hole in a sock or whatever it was. But we always did things with our hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and not only just with your hands, but I think he really instilled that building went like next level. Sure. Just the idea of being a builder. And you mentioned, you guys are all very entrepreneurial, and you give back to your communities, and you've done so much in that space.
Yeah.
And so I want to stay here for just a minute, because there's so much that I admire and respect about you. And one of those things is that you build other people, you build companies, you build you. You have rebuilt you. I don't even know how many times.
Reinvented, rebuilt, resurfaced, for sure.
You have really. So, you have a very personal story of resilience in a lot of different ways, but I want to go back to when you were younger. You had this life and this, you were independent, you were raised to do all these incredible things, but you struggled with something really impactful. And I think maybe if other kids don't have this exact same thing, they're struggling with something right now. So tell us about that experience of struggle in childhood.
Yeah. So I was born with a birthmark that covers the entirety of my face. It's down my throat, inside my ears. And I was born with, your child's going to die. That was that was how I was handed to my parents. Your child's going to die from this. It's going to penetrate into her brain and kill her.
Oh my gosh.
They knew nothing about port wine stains or birthmarks. And, what I've been told is that my parents said, does she have 10 toes and 10 fingers? And is she okay? Can she walk? Is she, are her lungs okay? Can she see? Can she hear? And that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything else. And I thank my parents so much for their resilience, because imagine in your 20s. I think my mother was 21 when she had me, right? 21 years old. What does a 21-year-old know about birth defects or, even just the worry that they would have had, right? And I was deformed. I am deformed. It's still there, right?
Isn't that so crazy though? It wasn't that long ago, Ange. Like the technology, it's not that long ago that we've discovered so much stuff. And for your parents to be handed you and say, she's going to die from a birthmark. Yeah. Your poor mom, to your point, incredible resiliency. So Yeah. And you're not deformed. You're beautiful.
Well, of course.
But at the time.
Yes. Look, it's still there, right? Yeah. Of course, I wear beautiful makeup because I've been taught lots of amazing things, but, it's all still there.
Right.
It didn't disappear. It's all still there. But more importantly was my parents took me from the hospital and said, she's going to be just fine. And from that day on, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, parents treated me no differently than all of my other cousins, treated me no differently than anybody else. And that was it. I didn't know anything different.
Yeah.
I only knew something different when then I had to go to school. And now you are different. Now you are bullied. Now you are made fun of. And I wasn't equipped to know how to really handle that because I was not, right?
Yeah, it wasn't your environment.
It wasn't my environment.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I got really good grades. I was an honor student. I pushed really hard. Like, you're going to tell me I'm something? Guess what? I'm going to tell you I'm not. I'm going to tell you I'm something else. I'm going to show you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll say this over and over, but my voice had to be louder than anybody else's. And at the time, it was my parents' voice and my sister's voices, right? I had two. I'm the middle child of two sisters, of three girls, and my older sister was a gorgeous model. She was a ballerina. She was a dancer. My mother was a beauty queen, literally. My father is an odontist. He's gorgeous, dark brown skin. I mean, he's just gorgeous, right?
You do have a beautiful family.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then my little sister, just sweet and cute and blonde as blonde can be, a little towhead. And so I was raised with all these beautiful people. I have gorgeous aunts. I mean, beautiful women in my world. And so that was it.
Right.
I was beautiful.
Right.
I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. I am, I'm strong. I am all these things that they told me that I wasn't, that they are. Right. And so, school really, I mean, it came in hard and fast, right? Because kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, and then you go into, you're in the system now. You're in school.
Right.
You're around kids, and they are, kids can be really mean.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn not to literally have a shield around me. And that's the best way I can say it. I had a shield and it just bounced off of me. It was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know who, right? And even now still, I try very hard, days at a time to not wear makeup, do everything that I would go out and do, because I will tell you, even when I go to my local grocery store or shopping or, the bank, and I show up, of course, like this one day, and then I show up like, people are taken aback, and I'm always like, wow, it's amazing how they treat you so differently. But I've experienced that my whole life. Right. So it's human nature, right? Yeah. It's human nature to be concerned, to look, right? Sometimes you just you can't take your eyes off something that is different.
Yeah.
Right. And I actually love that. I love surprising people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's this whole movement with Pamela Anderson, has come out and just said, no more.
I'm done.
I'm not playing into this beauty, pageant anymore that we are parading in. Do you know what I love so much? And you've been doing that for a long time, Ange. I mean, you have been always. It's like I show up however I want to. Sometimes I have makeup, sometimes I don't. And you're still incredibly beautiful from the inside out. It just doesn't matter, So the idea of, I wonder what that was like for you though, feeling like you had to cover up, feeling like you had to fit in, right? Because that shield, it really can last for such a long time. But at some point, middle school, high school, it starts to become, oh, I am different and I don't look like that, and that's not just for people that have birthmarks or, that's just in general, high school and middle school years are sucky, for body image. And, so how did you navigate those years in that space?
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of sports.
Yeah.
I was a gymnast. I was a swimmer. I was a diver. I loved solo sports, right? As you'll notice, those are not team sports. I loved solo sports. Of course, I played basketball in church or volleyball. And, I tried those things, but I could excel competing against myself. And that's what I did. And I didn't have to prove anything to anyone else but myself. And so sports was a huge thing for me, and really understanding that I had control of that. But, I was thinking about this before I came on here the other day around what is it about, showing up with makeup or showing up in a nice dress or whatever it is for us, right? I think that at the end of the day, I think that you're going to react differently to me if I'm not that way. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've had to push myself to do, right? Show up a blank slate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or vulnerable. Right. It's about being vulnerable. And when I found makeup, my parents wouldn't allow me to wear makeup, right? Until I was in 7th grade. So what is that? 13, 12, 13 years old. Right. So, but makeup was so fun, right? It became just like this fun thing for me that I could explore. And I had never seen my face without color on it. I had never seen my skin be the same color as my neck or my arms, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that was empowering. So for me, it became my superpower, really, right? I could have you look at my eyes rather than my birthmark, right?
Yeah.
Or I could have you look at my lips or my, my hair rather than looking at or my face, right?
Right.
You could look at me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say that. Like
accentuating that.
Yeah. People see you, how you are inside.
Yeah.
This
so
is
they're
how
not thinking anything else.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I never wanted anyone to feel sorry for me. Pity was horrible. That was like the worst thing ever. Right. Oh, you poor thing.
Right.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I am strong. I'm amazing. Right.
Yeah.
And I know that we'll talk about that, but that is where all my I ams came from.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
I am fine and I am great and I am powerful. I am beautiful.
Yeah.
I am great. Don't feel shame or sorry for me. Right. And so that became my superpower.
Right.
I could put on makeup and now you really see me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, for me, through high school and exploring, and of course, everything's changing in a woman's body, as you're maturing, and then boys come into your life, and you don't want to feel insecure about a boy seeing you without makeup on or with your hair not done or anything, right?
Yeah.
Every girl has that.
Yeah.
But for me, I was going to know that the boy or the crush that I had, right? If he could see me without all of that and how he would react, that it was a test for me.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
And you were in swimming too. So there was a lot of opportunity for people to see you both in both lights, so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that confidence though, of just being able to show up anyway.
Yeah.
Like makeup is fun for me. So I wear makeup when I feel like it.
Yeah.
And when I don't, I'm in my power and I'm owning that space and I'm showing up as a resilient woman. As a 15-year-old swimmer, it's courageous. And I love that you just embrace that part of your life, Ange, and you've done it your whole life.
Yeah.
So, we move from, and you said earlier how you're competitive with yourself, and you absolutely are competitive with yourself. You are your biggest competition, always.
For sure.
And that has pushed you into places that have just been so exciting.
Yeah.
And so I want to go from high school to what happened after high school? You have this incredible entrepreneurial spirit.
Yep.
You're showing up in the world the way that you want to. You have some pretty good, strong roots about who you are. You're confident. Yep. So what happens next for Angela when you graduate from high school?
Yeah. I had big plans, right?
Yeah.
I had big plans to be a child psychologist because I really wanted kids to love the skin they're in. And I thought, I can do that.
Right.
Wow. If I can see kids and be with kids and help parents act the same way, right? And treat their kids the same way that my parents treated me. I really wanted that for society, for humanity, for children, right? And I also started working very early on in my life. I started jobs at 15, like jobs, right? I worked at Arby's. I worked at the gym. I worked, right? I cleaned gas pumps, I wanted to work, and my parents instilled that in me. Like, you want to buy something or you want to get something? This is how you do it. Right. Yeah. And so it motivated me to have several jobs. So I started a company right out of high school. I started a personal assisting firm and house cleaning company right out of high school. and it was amazing. I had freedom. I was helping people in their homes.
Yeah.
And then I was putting myself through school. And then at night I would go and I was a personal trainer at night. And that was before, Fit Magazine or before, all, of course, before
everything.
Instagram and, right. So all I had was Jane Fonda. I had Susan Powers and I had bodybuilding.
Yes.
I mean, that was it, right? That was the model where I had my competitiveness, which I was, I competed in gymnastics and diving and so I thought, I didn't resonate a lot with Jane Fonda, right? I didn't resonate with aerobics. I wanted power because I was a gymnast. I was jumping on boards. I was jumping on beams and floors that would bounce me up. And, I was jumping on trampolines. And so power was really big for me and to be empowered. And so bodybuilding became my kind of, the way that I wanted. That was who I resonated with at the gym where I worked. Yeah. And so I started learning how to lift weights and what that meant and how to eat right and how to fuel my body for the body composition that I wanted and to also fuel my body or anyone's body for that matter, right? I really learned anatomy during that time and physique. And then that propelled me into wanting to change my major to exercise science, kinesiology, and biomechanics. And then I took that to another level.
Girl, yes, you did. Okay, so we're just going to pause here for a second and say, wow, you were like, just didn't explore bodybuilding. You became a machine. Your body became a machine. And you won competition. You're just amazing, just an amazing period of life, and pushing your body. What did that teach you in that process? I mean, you've always pushed your body, but that's a different kind of focus.
It gave me focus, just like you said. It's a different type of focus. I couldn't compete in gymnastics anymore, right? I got very sick. I got extremely sick when I was 17. My immune system crashed. I was pushing my body to the limits, right? And I didn't want to have that happen again. And I didn't know much about the bodies and the systems and the 60 trillion thousand cells in this body that need protein and carbs and food. My parents did the best that they could, but they had no idea how to feed an athlete. They had no idea how to feed a competitive athlete for that matter, but they just didn't know.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine, after training 6 hours a day, I was eating Twinkies and a glass of milk, right? And I was
cornflakes.
Yeah. I mean, Captain Crunch, Yeah. And children
of the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, look, Wheaties was promoted.
That's right.
I mean, Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah, that's right.
My idol at that time was on the Wheaties box, right? Yeah. And so that's what I was fed.
Right.
That is not what my body wanted, and that is not what my body needed, and it crashed and burned. And so then as I got older, I could speak to somebody who could help me understand food, right? And understand fuel and understand body physique. And then, yes, I became a fitness competitor. I was not a bodybuilder, but, because now we know all these different genres of bodybuilding, but I was a fitness competitor, and I became a fitness model, and then I was helping clients as well, which was incredible. I went to the Integrative School of Nutrition. And then I became a yogi, right? So I had to find peace and wellness inside my mind and my body as well. And and then I created my other businesses.
Yes, you did. Do you know one thing that something that I really love about you, Ange, is that the notion, the understanding, it's not a notion, it's a deep understanding of the need for peace and harmony. You are very good at tempering the things that are intense with the things that are harmonious in your life. And you've just made an incredible real life practice of that. It's not just something that you share with people on the surface, you live it. And So, when we talk about you discovering food and we talk about the healing, the part that came from that, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of people that are struggling from food intake, right? They're not struggling from not having food. It's the wrong food to create that harmony in their body. And there is a healing process that you have to go through for that. So I just want to know what that process was like for you to have to reconcile, if you will, with food and how it impacted your body, because I think there's a journey there.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, in our world, right? And in our society, in religion, in our school, right? Food is love. Food is how we show appreciation. Food is how we celebrate holidays. Food is sometimes overlooked, right? And my relationship with food was the same relationship that my parents had with food, because that was my teacher at the time, right? And yes, at 18, I had to relearn my relationship with food because I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs and I was a professional athlete, right? So food, for me, it really, an epiphany, an awakening, whatever it was for me, I literally, and of course, this was even before the internet, right?
Right, yeah.
I had to go to, the library, right?
The encyclopedia.
Imagine that. Yeah, the encyclopedia. I had to go to my health, teacher at high school after I had graduated, of course.
Right.
And I went and had a conversation with her, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know what we know now.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I just started an elimination diet. So for me, it was letting go. And this is not for everyone. I'm not recommending this to everyone, but for me,
it worked for you.
At that time, it was eliminating milk products, gluten, any sort of breads, pastas, and I ate good fats and proteins and vegetables.
Yeah.
Right. And it healed me. There was many other things, of course.
Sure.
I really focused on my hydration. I focused on my stress management. I focused on, being mindful and not pushing myself too hard, right? As an athlete, you thrive on the burn, right? You thrive on pushing yourself so hard that you throw up, right? And that was not healthy. And sometimes the universe just shows up too, right? I was in Hawaii training for a competition and I said, oh my gosh, I need a break. And I just set it out to the universe, right? Turned around and I broke my toe 2 weeks before a competition, right?
Words have power, right?
I am. Yes. Yeah. So, right. Just really being mindful around how you talk to yourself, how you show up in the world, and words do matter. And so food was a huge part of my healing, really understanding my self-talk and loving the skin that I'm in. Yeah. Right?
Well, and you're so good at it too, Ange. And it's you consistently are resilient. You've had so many opportunities in your life to be resilient. You've also had so many opportunities in your life just to sit and not be resilient. So, taking your journey in fitness and food and the journey that you've already been on with the I am statements and that shield and that recognizing all the different sides of who you are, which is such a beautiful process. When you embrace it, right? Sure. It can be really beautiful. But going to that next phase of Angela, I mean, Ange, you've been through some stuff. You've had some pretty intense things. And if you don't mind, I'd love for you to just share with us, me specifically, and the listeners, what that journey was like for you. Because you went from, you were training some pretty significant people, and then you had a pretty significant tragedy in your life. So tell us about that journey.
Yeah. At this time, I was in the height of my career. I was living in New York. I was going back and forth from New York to Europe to LA. I was training celebrities. I was a top wellness celebrity coach and trainer. At the time, I was, I was at model houses, movie houses, my career was skyrocketing.
Yeah. But I mean, Tom Cruise, Katie Couric, like you had really big people that you were helping at that
top
point.
models.
It's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it is, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
I've had an amazing life.
You have. It's so great. I love it.
But I also met a boy, right?
Yeah.
And I fell in love very quickly. And within 9 weeks, we got married. And within 2 weeks after that marriage, he had beaten me pretty horribly.
This is the height of your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The height of my career. And I'm living in New York. I had just moved to New York within a month of this happening. And he beat me in the middle of the street. And I was shocked. It was like I got hit by a car. Right. And of course, when those things happen, you go, whoa, right? Like, what did I just get myself into? What have I done? What just happened? And you're shocked, right? You're shocked. Yeah. The man who loves you, anyone, the person who you think you're in love with or that loves you, you are now abused. And the roller coaster continued for many years. And September 11th happened, and that changed our trajectory, right? Much like what COVID did in 2020, right? Kept people in their homes. It kept people thinking that they could be together. And wow, if that's going to happen, this can't be that bad.
Right.
Right. And after September 11th, I was homeless. I mean, that's what happened, right? Yeah. I wanted to get away from him so badly. And I tried so many times that I lived in the stairwell in the building where we lived. And I felt safe. I felt like he couldn't find me, but I was still working in the building. So in the morning, I would go up and train my clients or be with my clients and travel all over New York City, and he would stalk me. And it was a very scary time in my life. But I also knew that there was something better. I also knew that I wanted something better.
Yeah.
And wanted something more. And I loved him, right? And I loved myself, but I loved myself more. And again, my voice had to be louder than his, right? Abusers are masters at manipulating your mind and what you think and who you think you are. And my voice had to be louder.
Yeah.
And
it's so interesting. Every time you share this story, every time we talk about it, every time we share it, and we worked together a long time, and you've talked about this on, affiliate networks throughout the nation. And especially during Domestic, Violence Awareness Month. And I think the response that most people have is, her? How could she be in an abusive relation? Look at her. She's a goddess. She's a powerhouse. How? So, and I think it's a misconception on people's parts that really powerful women can't end up in really terrifying relationships with people.
Absolutely.
So how the juxtaposition of those two things, Ange, for you, what was that experience like to know that you're powerful and still be in this situation with him?
Yeah. I mean, without swearing on our, right? It's a mind F. I mean, that's just what it is, right? It's a manipulation. And also because I compete with myself and I didn't want to disappoint. And I had this huge career that what was I going to do? Right. I mean, that's what you try to reconcile it over and over and over and month after month, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, right? Because abusers, they control. And I mean, they control you with 100 phone calls a day or, 20 text messages. It gets more and more abusive, right? And for me, I was working constantly. I was traveling, and then it became, you can't fly. Right? Now you can't work. You can't work with that certain client or you can't, right? And so they whittle away at your life until they feel like you have nothing left. But for me, I just knew that there was something better. Right? And it took a long time, but in the length of a lifetime, it was a moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We were together almost 7 years. I divorced him within 2 years. I tried to get away from him, went back, of course, because that's what we do. And, and by the time a suitcase landed in the room, I was already kicked out and abused. And, my furniture hadn't even got to a place, and I was already, he was already beating me and, without being too graphic, either you're going to fight back or you're going to let it happen, right? You're either going to be underneath the stairwell or you're going to fight back. And, and I did fight back, right? I got to a place where you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you. And I didn't like that person.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to abuse him because now I'm abusing as well. Right. And I didn't want to do that. And so, I mean, cops were called, I had to move again. I had to live in my sister's basement. Yeah. I mean, you do what you have to do to survive.
Right.
And it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let myself feel sorry for myself. I was not going to. I knew that I had to be resilient. I knew that I could make money. It didn't matter if I had nothing right now because, he took everything. He, of
control.
course, the control is in his name, right? He took everything I had nothing. I packed a backpack and got on a train and with $50 in my pocket. That was it. That's what I had. And I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But he had control of everything. And it is hard to reconcile. Yeah. It is hard to say, you're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Every day I would say that, right? But sometimes we get in situations when we trust and love in the beginning and we let our control go and or our self-worth or our value, whatever it is for us, right? And I just knew that I wanted something better.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think powerful women still, depending on who you are, I like to make people happy. I like to be in a relationship where I am the factor of happiness, and not to say that your happiness depends on my happiness, but I like to be a contributor to the joy in a relationship. And I know that's the same for you.
Sure.
So when you're that kind of person, you can have all the power. You can have all the self-knowing and the value and the power that you want, but wow, relationship dynamics are so interesting.
Yeah.
What they do to you, sometimes what you give up in the name of that. But I want to contribute to the joy. I want to be happy. I want to make you happy. I want to be happy.
Sure.
So I think, Ange, and I just have this picture of you with that backpack on that train, just breathing, just the sigh of, and in that moment for you, that must have felt like an extremely challenging, but yet resilient moment for you.
I mean, for sure. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
I was scared that he was on the train. I was scared that he was going to find me. I didn't really know where I was going.
Yeah.
I was going to get off at a stop somewhere, right? I had no credit card. I had nothing. I mean, I don't even know if I had an ID at that point. Like literally, right? But
you did it.
And for me, it was like, okay, that was one more step, right?
Yeah.
That was one more step. And it took a long time. I mean, he was obsessed and stalked for years. And I changed my number many times and I, had to bounce around many times and that was tough. Yeah. Yes, it's tough.
Yeah.
And look at me now.
Yeah, I was just looking at you beaming over there, and I'm like,
like it's a blip, and yes, it sucks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so hard, and it was terrifying.
Yeah,
it was terrifying.
Yeah,
and it was sleeping with the enemy, right?
Yeah,
and I just knew that my life is gonna be great.
Right.
Like I am magical, and I am going to be just fine. And I knew that I could get away from it and get out of it and be and do something else.
Mm-hmm. But Ange, there's so many women in the world. I mean, there's so many women probably listening right now that are in this situation or have been in this situation or on the other side of it. And hearing somebody like you own that and just give that beautiful, bright hope and that empathy. I mean, your empathy for this space is so any kind of abuse because of your experiences. You've really done incredible things to be an advocate for abuse awareness across the board, sex trafficking and child abuse and just the gamut of things. Yeah. Does it help your resiliency to be engaged in being an advocate for that space?
I mean, yes, always, right? I think that we need to fight for anyone who can't fight for themselves, right? I think that that's super important. I had incredible women in my life, incredible men in my life, incredible people in my life that, and there were so many who just, like, here's the key to my apartment for 2 nights, or, I had a beautiful woman tell me one day I was teaching her yoga and she didn't know my personal situation. And she said, Angela, I think you're going to need a place to stay. And that was like a year of my life living in this gorgeous place and, this amazing guest house that I didn't have to pay for. Yeah. Like, yes. So for me, if I can do that for someone else, if I can raise money or if I can raise awareness or if I can talk about helping a certain demographic that needs support, that is so important because I was the recipient of that. Yeah. I got that. And it's super important to me.
Yeah. Community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Advocating for the people in your community and being supported by the people in your community. Yeah. We've talked so many times about receiving support. Like it's hard when you are strong and you are independent and you do find yourself in places that you didn't expect to be, it's really hard to accept the support from other people because you just want to be the island. Like, no, I can do this, right? I can get through this. And so, for you, those women that showed up for you, I mean, you have a beautiful sisterhood of women that you've collected over the years that have supported you. And I really admire and appreciate that. It's such an example to me of how to be in a sisterhood, in a real community of women that care about you and that uplift you and are there and accept you for whatever, and you're such a brilliant example of that to me. You always have been, but especially as I've gotten older, you've gotten older, like it's just become more important, more significant to me. So I want to thank you for leaning into that advocacy voice, both in your personal life and also outside in business. Yeah. You're amazing. So from this point, Ange, I know that you went on to create incredible health and wellness, companies. We had Own Power and Meals That Transform and all these amazing food companies that were based on helping people in their resiliency through the ways that helped you. Yeah. So food and fitness and, incredible things. Yeah. I'd love for you to share maybe just something that is a go-to for you when you are in these moments where maybe you're in something and you're just stuck. Like, what are your go-to things that you do to really pull yourself out of that after having been through so much? What are those key things for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's really simple, Carrie, and you and I have done this before and we've done this together, but really it is, setting your feet on the ground. Grounded, right? 90 degrees. Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. I'm not, for me, it's okay. I'm not sitting in a stairwell. Right. I have more than $50 in my pocket or, I'm okay. I ate this morning. I drank some water, I find gratitude, right? Of like where I'm at and where I've been. And I think it's so important just to look where you're at right now, right? And when it gets crazy and when it's, too much, wow, girl, I just talked to that girl and I'm like, look at where you've been, look at where you've been, girl. And I coach myself. I have moments all the time, right?
Yeah.
I give myself a little pep talk, right?
Yeah.
We have moments of times where it's super difficult and hard, but you got to give yourself a pep talk, right? You can have pity parties.
I love that you just said
right?
I coach myself, because I don't think we look at self-talk that way. Like we don't really look at like we are the coach.
Yeah.
Like tap into like, what would you tell somebody else?
Yes.
How would you coach somebody else?
Yes.
Yeah. I really love that. Be your own coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, look, again, your voice has to be the loudest.
Yeah.
And if it's mean and nasty and it is not kind, well, there you go.
Right.
Right. And
how can you expect anything different?
My voice is so sweet and so nice. And
Yes,
she loves this girl, right? And she just wants her to lift up and be amazing and shine her light. And I mean, it's super important.
Yeah.
But for me, it is like, get grounded.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got to get grounded, right? Put your feet on the ground, out of shoes, out of socks. You are barefoot, feet on the ground. If you can walk outside, just stand in Mother Earth and like, look at how, I mean, I never want to say anyone's small, but we're so small, right?
Yeah.
She will embrace you and she will love you and then be present.
Yeah.
Be present, right? Our pain, all of our pain comes from past or future. We are never in the present.
Right.
Because we're always thinking about what's coming next, what next question, what next deal.
She's talking about me right now, by the way.
What next, right? Or, oh my gosh, look at what I did before. Look at how terrible that was. Or look at how, right?
Right.
And if we just go, and I know some of you are struggling out there. I get it. I really do. I've been there.
Yeah.
But if we can just like, I'm safe. I feel good. And now I can make a educated, calm decision for my next step.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I have to do that. Because I'm a big thinker.
Yeah.
I'm a whirlwind hurricane. My mom calls me the hurricane. And I can come in and whoop up things and then leave and there's the chaos. Right. And so I have to ground myself.
Yeah.
So,
well, you're really good at doing it too, Ange. And you're good at exemplifying that for other people. And I've learned so much from you in that way. And so I really, really appreciate that. And you are strong and powerful. You are freaking superwoman. And you have just taken that energy and become a resilient human. Like and I love that you know exactly what your go-to strategies are in order to get through that next thing, whatever that is. And having those strategies, that's so significant, to be able to pulling yourself out of that. And you just do that so beautifully. And you're working on, I hate that we have to end this because I love talking to you. And we do. We talk for hours anyway. But I really appreciate the fact that you are vulnerable, and that you're taking that vulnerability and you are putting it into the most positive space that you can. And that's to help other people, whether that be through your work, whether that be through your love and the way that you caretake the people in your life, or I should say, take care of the people in your life. You show up. You show up fully as yourself in every place in your life. So what are you working on right now in your life?
Personally?
Yeah, personally,
in my life?
Professionally,
Yeah. I'm always working on something. I really love the work, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, right now I'm working on being balanced.
Yeah.
Because...
Do you believe that there's balance or just harmony? What do you think?
So I think that those things are different.
Yeah.
So I have, personally, I have injuries that come up in my life and show up physically in my life. And, as I sit here, my hips are hurting and I've got an injury. And so I know that somewhere I'm off balance, right?
Yeah.
Because hips are your balance.
Right. Same. Yeah.
And so, for me, I'm trying to really work on, and this is not work-life balance. This is me being balanced.
Got it.
So this is me checking in again, getting grounded.
Yeah.
Both feet, 90 degrees, same pressure on both feet, right? hands, really standing up straight, posture. Am I balanced? Right? And am I feeding myself well? Am I doing all the things that make me happy and make me a beautiful person to show up?
Yeah.
And harmony for me is then doing all of those things. That's what creates harmony for me.
Yeah.
Right. And so I believe that those are two different things.
Yeah. I love that idea though of just putting your physical body in balance. We don't really think about when we talk about work-life balance, or we don't really go to that heart-centered space that says no. And it's not just heart-centered, it's physical. You physically cannot be receptive to whatever divine energy you need to embody if you are out of balance physically.
Yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to connect with you, where could they find you?
Yeah. I am AngelaMartindale.com.
Girl, yes, you are.
And on LinkedIn.
Yeah, on LinkedIn. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing incredible things. You're doing amazing things for businesses here, helping them understand how to function better, how to become more monetarily successful. You are definitely a force to be reckoned with. And for anybody out there that is looking for this incredible human machine of awesomeness in the world to help your company, please make sure that you connect with Angela. She will do incredible things for you. So, Ange, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're awesome. I love you.
Thank you.
Thank
I love you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refined Resilience. We hope you found inspiration in the stories shared and the small moments that remind us all of our strength. Remember, resilience is built not just in the big challenges we face, but in the everyday experiences that shape who we are. A special thanks to our sponsor, Build Then Bless, for making Refined Resilience possible. Until next time, remember, it's the small moments of resilience that make us great.